Okay, hello everyone. I'm Professor Liu from BA Department in Taiwan Tech. Today we are going to learn while loop. First of all, I want to remind you when you learn flow control or loops, it's a little bit hard for some beginner because you probably already know it's not just about understand the standard syntax. Sometimes when you face a new problem, you need to combine with different syntax. You combine them and find a way to get the result you want, find a way to solve the problem. But anyway, we start from the standard structure of the while loop, So first of all, you have the while and you write the condition. When the condition is met, then you repeat the statement. You put after the symbol, after the indent. The statement may be multiple lines, So all the multiple lines with indent will be considered as the statement in a while loop, and all the statement will be repeated multiple times until the condition not hold anymore. So for example, now I prepare a string. I call it a smile face. Okay, happy face. Okay, face. So remember that in a while loop, few things you need to keep in mind. Although the stand structure looks like that, so we have a stand structure we put here. So while I smaller or equal to 5, we repeat this statement. And this statement have two lines. The first line is print face, this happy face, multiple times. When I say multiple, means it depends on the value of I. If I equal to 1, we get 1 happy face. If I equal to 2, we have 2 happy face. So you can see now I put a variable I to control the flow. So when I say I use I to control the flow, two things you need to keep in mind. You need to be sure to decide the update variable process to control and stop the loop. So first of all, I have a variable. I need to provide a variable initial value outside the loop, before the loop. And also I need to put the update mechanism or process inside the statement. So when the loop is keep running, I have the process to be updated, and after a few iterations, I will help me to stop the loop. Otherwise, it's become an endless loop. This is what we don't want. So we don't want endless loop. So remember, set up the variable, give initial value before the loop, and in the statement, you need to write the process, design the process to update your variable. That's very important. Okay, let's move on. So second, nested while loop. Last week we already know we can put loop inside another loop. So maybe we just say it's a outer loop, inner loop. Okay, so since we have two loop, this problem I need to mention first. We practice again about the 9 times 9 tables. Okay, so in the 9 times 9 tables, I like to separate the first number as A and controlled by the outer loop. The second variable I call it B, controlled by the inner loop. So I only have 2 levels of loop, 2 loops. And I want to calculate A times B, that's become my result. So when I print out, the first number times the second number equal to the result. That's the result I want. So first we focus on the inner loop. Remember, I use B to control the inner loop. So I need to design the mechanism of updating B in the statement. The mechanism is the second line. B equal to B plus 1. So every time when I finish one loop of B plus 1 and become the value in the second round. So the B will repeat, start from 1 until 9, okay. I mean, if smaller than 10, it will keep running. So from 1 to 9, it will keep running 9 times. And every time the inner loop ends, we will keep running. So we will see the first round in the outer loop, because the inner loop already finished. So we keep going. So the first round in the outer loop, we still have 2 lines need to finish. The first one is update the variable of A. Remember, A is the variable used to control the outer loop. So we need a mechanism to update the A value. So we put here, that's the purpose, update the A value. At the same time, when you use nested loop, remember, you also need to reset the variable you use for control the inner loop, right? So I need to reset B equal to 1. Otherwise, if I didn't update B, remember, next time I go back to this position, and now A become 2. Okay, that's fine, and keep running. When I go to this place, because without this 1, B is still 10, so the inner loop will not be triggered, will not be run, will not be executed. So I don't want it, so I need to remember to update the B value. That's very important. So if you understand this part, maybe keep that in mind. Give initial value outside the loop. Second, design the mechanism in the statement to update the variable you use to control the loop. So control B loop, you need to update B value in the statement of B loop. To control A loop, you need to update R value in the statement of A loop. But also keep in mind, every time if you have nested loop, remember you need to reset the value for the inner level, lower level loop. Reset the value of B, something like that. Okay, if you understand this part, maybe you can try to design the 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 table. So that means we have A and B and C. Okay, so I will first remove this one. So maybe you can stop the video here and try to finish this practice first. Maybe after a few minutes you finish, then you can come back. We can check your answer to my answer to compare the result. Okay, so first of all, I actually enlarge the original code. I want one more level as C loop after we run A and B, so I increase one more variable, one more loop. So if C is the most inside loop, so I need to print A times B times C equal to A times B times C, this one as the print out format. That's what I want. And also I need to update C value in C loop. And then I go out, I see B loop, so I need to update the B value and also reset C value. Reset C value here. Otherwise, every time I run I run the second time of B loop, the C will become 10, but I need to reset it. Otherwise, the C loop won't run again, right? So that's important. Update C value. And after B value and the first time, I go out, I need to update the R value. At the same time, reset B value. Okay, so that's the basic rule when you design nested loop. Okay, in while loop, that's when you design a nested loop, you need to keep those things in mind. Okay, hope you didn't encounter any problem in this process. If you do have, you can discuss with me in our physical class. Oh, by the way, I want to share experience with you. Every time I write a more complicated program, I like to set the range become smaller. That can help me to check if the program runs correctly. For example, instead of 10, I probably will start with 3. So I understand each of a value will become only 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So first of all, in the first round, A equal to 1 and go inside, B equal to 1 and then go inside, C. First go with C equal to 1 and second time C equal to 2. So that's the inner loop of C. Finish. Then we jump out, then back to B loop. Now B become 2, but A still 1 because we are still in the first round of A, but second round of B. So this time B become 2, A still 1, B become 2, and C need to go through from 1 to 2. And after that, because B become 3, so the end here and go out, and this moment A update to 2 and repeat again. So A become 2, but B need go through 1 and 2. C also need to go through 1 and 2. So check the process, check the output result, make sure the flow is correct as what we expected. Okay, so that's a skill I want to share with you. Instead of start from complicated large range of problem, maybe you can first set up a smaller range to check the result. Okay, let's move on. The last topic I want to share with you is break and continue. Break and continue. When you write a loop code, actually we separate to regular end and irregular end. Regular end, like what we set up here, I have a range of the variable value. For example, A from 1 to 9. After it's finished, the A larger than 10 is stopped. So that's the regular end. However, in some situation, we can set up some condition. If the condition is meets our desired operation result, we can force the loop be interrupted. So we have two more syntax I want to introduce with you. The first one is break. Break means it will interrupt the current running loop and jump outside the loop structure. The whole loop structure will be stopped and continue to execute the program outside the loop. So for example, we can check this one. Now I want to print each of the letter in this syntax, hello world. But I'll keep that in mind. So for example, if I use a for loop, if I didn't do anything, it's kind of like a regular end. So it's finish all the letter and the print out. Okay, at the same time, maybe I need to introduce to you. Look at this one. I put an and equal to and nothing here, but if I change it to space, that means every time I print one letter and end with a space. Okay, so that's the syntax you may consider to use. Instead of space, you can also use other symbol to separate them. Okay. However, if without the and equal syntax, you can see actually it's a multiple line. It's print the I value multiple in multiple lines. So it's kind of like even we didn't write the and equal syntax, it's kind of like already provided you an initial value. It say and equal to a change line. Oh, this symbol means you change your line. After you print I, you change one line and print the next I and change one line. So even you didn't write it, you can see it's already treated like this way. If I put it back, it's still the same result. So if you don't want to change line every time you print a value, maybe you can use this way, and equal to nothing, so it won't change line. So it will print the whole hello world. Okay, then we go back to oh, I deleted it. So we go back to the break syntax. So for example, whenever the I means each of the letter in this string. If the string equal to O, I want the loop be stopped. So the whole for loop will be stopped. So you can see if I equal to O, whenever the I equal to O, it meets the requirement, it fulfills the statement, so it's break. The break is for this for loop, so it's stop. Okay, if you want to test, maybe you can try other letter, for example W. Okay, so it stop. Before W, everything print out, but when it's encounter W, it's break. So the whole loop be stopped. Change to D. Similarly, okay, you can see this. So it's a break. It's a break. And different, instead of different to break, now we change. If I change only this place to continue, TINUE. Okay, change to continue, and we also change back to O. You can see when I use continue means it will stop the current iteration, the iteration for print O out. It won't be executed after continue. So everything after continue won't be executed, but the loop is still running. It keep running in the second iteration. So I become the next string. So it become the space. So space still be print out, and W still be print out. But O again, if it's encounter another O again, it will skip the print action after continue. Okay, so you can see continue means doesn't really stop the whole loop, but stop the current iteration, the current run, the current iteration, and go to the next run of the loop. So if I set up to L, means when we encounter O, it skip the print, but keep running. So you can try if I change to L. Similarly, every time we encounter L, it skip the print, but keep running. Okay, so that's the syntax of break and continue. That's also very important skill when you control your loop or control your flow. Okay, keep that in mind. You can also use break and continue for your while loop, not only for for loop. It's just easier for me to teach you with for loop. But in our practice, later I will also use break and continue in while loop. Okay, anyway, before we end the video class, I want to share with you, in our next physical class, I will prepare a lot of different practice, because I found the best way to teach you those flow control. Actually, I need to design a lot of practice and ask you to think about how to solve those practice first by yourself. It is very normal if you don't know how to do it, but just try it. And after, for example, maybe 10-15 minutes, maybe some of the students able to solve it, some of them cannot. That's fine, it's not a big problem. But later I will share with you my answer, so you learn it. After you think about it, it's better for you to digest those code I share with you. Instead of if I directly provide you the code, you won't know what is the value, what is the key to understand those syntax. So anyway, in the next physical class, I will prepare you a lot of practice So maybe before the class, for example, this one about highest common factor, we put two numbers and we try to write a program to help you find the highest common factor. Okay, maybe you can think about it, even write a code and before the class. Okay, next class we will start with the practice. Thanks for your time. See you in our physical class.